Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome to our Cosmic Trial guide for Marvel Heroes Omega. With this particular guide video, we will run through the Cosmic Trial with Thor. I've recently hit level 60 on him. Gear wise, he doesn't have a legendary, story mode artifacts, and simply super heroic gear for slots 1 to 5. So for that reason, if you're a new player and you've recently hit level 60 with Thor, this guide will hopefully help you pass the Cosmic Trial to get some of that great cosmic gear. So first up, what we'll do is look at the skills and talents I would use, and then we'll follow that up with the actual gameplay run through as well. Now when we actually look at the skills here, something that doesn't show in this tooltip that we'll be able to see in the talent section is that a lot of our skills have Godly Smite attached to them. Now Godly Smite is essentially doing around about 75% extra damage of what you're getting on your initial cooldown skill, so it really is fantastic, and you'll see during the trial the huge amount of damage we can pump out from using it. But if you look at the actual skills, the first one we're looking at here is Jumping Smite, so 8-second cooldown, and this one will use Godly Smite when we use it. We then have Hammer Smash. I like to follow this up after using Jumping Smite, that gets us in their faces. Hammer Smash then provides the vulnerability, and this will also gain Godly Smite through the setup we're using. At that point we'll bout with Odin Force, so we then use Ragnarok, and that will regenerate our Odin Force all the way back to 100%. At that point we then use Crack the Sky. We get 2 charges of this, and again this will use Godly Smite, which is great. You'll notice a trend here. And then we move on to Asgardian Smite, and we've got this buffed through talent, so the cooldown is a quite long 12 seconds, but it hits for a huge amount, and again we have Godly Smite attached to it. And then finally we have another Odin Force generator skill, so this one is Son of Odin here. So we've got the cooldown skills, we've got 2 cooldown skills even, then we have the Odin Force generator, then 2 cooldown skills and Odin Force generator, so it's a nice simple rotation. Now we also have the Anti-Force as well, so this is your signature, restores 100% of Odin Force, and through talents we've got it so it automatically activates for Asgard, which gives you a huge 1600 damage rating buff, critical hit damage, attack and move speed, and health and hit as well, and it has a 50% uptime, so this really is fantastic. But what we'll do now is we'll look at the talents we would be using. Now, as we've already touched on to an extent, the talents will largely be around the use of Godly Smite and adding Godly Smite to the skills we're using. The first one we look at is Resounding Smite. So with this one, Asgardian Smite gains the following effects. It gains an increased 100% damage, 4-second cooldown, and it also triggers that all-important Godly Smite, and on top of that it gives you a melee power damage buff as well. We then have God Force, so with this one, our signature, the Anti-Force, applies for Asgard. That's a skill we looked at a moment ago, and it really is pretty amazing. And also our signature is pulled down in duration, it's pulled down to 20 seconds for the actual cooldown for it, so that's really great. Means that it lines up perfectly with the For Asgard cooldown as well. We then have Stormcaller, so with this one it converts Ragnarok, but that's not really important. Ragnaroks will still generate Odin Force, but more importantly it means Crack the Sky, gains a max charge, and it triggers a Godly Smite for you. We then have Manya Unleashed, so with this, the 2 skills we're using at the start of our rotation, Hammer Smash and Jumping Smite, gain damage, the cooldown goes up, but they also have that Godly Smite trigger there as well, and you can see the damage is huge. With the skills such as Hammer Smash, I think it was doing in the region of about 38,000 damage, whereas Godly Smite is doing 26,000 damage just as an additional modifier, so I really can't emphasise enough how great that actually is. We then have Wrath of God, so with this one, For Asgard instantly refreshes the cooldowns of any power that triggers Godly Smite, and that's actually our 4 cooldown powers that we spam all have Godly Smite, so when you use your signature it triggers for Asgard, and in turn it resets all the Godly Smite skills and you're fully buffed as well. So you see a huge amount of damage after we trigger the signature and fire off all these skills. But the subject of seeing huge amount of damage, we will run through this trial now, and once we complete it we'll then look at the gear I've used as well.
severe. The Norns have written your fate. I cannot do that. Cannot do that.
And there we go. So as we can see, with all the hard hitting skills and godly smite regularly going off, you can really do an insane amount of damage with them. Gear wise, as mentioned, we don't have the legendary, regular enough artifacts from the story, and also just super heroic gear in slots 1 to 5. So as always, I hope this video was useful. Any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll see you all again soon.